As I mentioned before, I am astonished by the sheer abundance of plants here. Of course, it might be natural to see so many plants now that I've come to the surface, but still, I remember visiting plants only once while I was underground. When I was little, I was taken along with everyone at the care facility by our caregivers. Oh, but I suppose our caregivers are quite different from what you call parents. Anyway, at that time, we were taken to a large room where various plants were gathered. You could call it a botanical garden, I suppose. After the surface became uninhabitable due to desertification, radioactive contamination, and the use of bioweapons that affected reproduction, the number of plants on the surface drastically decreased. So the government used technology to preserve various plant seeds, and from those, they created an extinct species botanical garden. Well, since they're preserved there, I guess they're not entirely extinct. The government is truly amazing. They once invited us to this special place where these precious plants were gathered. All of us went together. Oh, and on the way, we took that vehicle I mentioned the day before yesterday, or when was it? But several days before. I've only seen the inside of the vehicle, so I'm not sure exactly what shape it had, but there were about 10 rows of seats facing the direction of travel. Or no, maybe more. We all had seats. Unlike the train we took recently, there were no other passengers. I don't remember it stopping at any other stations along the way either. It seemed to travel for a while, but since there were no windows, I couldn't be sure. Then, we arrived at the station for the botanical garden, though it was quite different from the stations here. When the doors opened, we stepped directly into the room, and the same size as the one we had boarded from, large enough to hold 20 to 30 people, although there was no one except us. There was no need to pay like here. When we exited the room, we found ourselves in a large space filled with all kinds of plants. The large trees were overwhelming. After coming to the surface, I saw big trees and I thought they really exist. But with all the other enormous things like buildings, I had somehow forgotten that feeling. We walked in a line, observing the plants. The government is truly incredible to have gathered and cultivated those plants for humanity now and in the future. The texture was completely different from the white-gray walls I'm used to. Rough, jagged brown surfaces, and then the paper-like shapes above. Oh, those are leaves. Everything was a first for me, and it was amazing. Since coming here, I've noticed that plants can be a bit dirty. Maybe they're wilting? That's what you call, right? There are a lot of those brown things. In the future botanical garden, I don't recall seeing any withered parts. Everything was orderly and beautiful. The plants here are a mix of beautiful and unkept ones. It's different. There weren't any crushed, smelly fruits like the ones I saw the other day. It really makes me feel nostalgic to think back to when I was so little.